Hey folks, welcome back to your Week 17 NFL picks for this week. Last week we went 12-4, 75% winning percentage. Again, totally straight up, nothing against the spread because this is totally for entertainment purposes only. That brings us up to about 63% for the season. We'd like to get up to about 70% for the season straight up. So let's dive right in. Tonight's games bring us the Fast Airplanes of New York flying in to play the Brownies of Cleveland. Brownies are 7.5-point favorites in this one. Total over under of 33.5. Very low scoring game they're anticipating. I'm going to go with the Brownies in this one. I don't think the Jets will be able to do much of anything. They have just like they have all year. Last week was a fluke for them, and so yeah, I'm going to go with the Browns on this one. And then Saturday brings us a great game: Detroit at Dallas. The Kittens of Detroit are flying in with an 11-4 record. But they are 5.5-point underdogs here, playing at Dallas. Total over under 52.5. They're expecting a little bit of scoring in this one, it appears. I'm going to go with the home team here. I think Dallas is going to be hungry. They've lost 2 in a row to both AFC Eastern teams. They need to try and keep up with Philly in order to have any shot of being near the top of the NFC. So I'm going to go with Dallas on this one. I don't know if they'll cover, but I do think Dallas will win at home. They're terrific at home. And then Sunday's early games bring us the Patriots of New England at the Bills of Buffalo. The Bills are 13-point favorites in this one. Last time they met, the Patriots defeated the Bills in New England, but I don't think that fate's going to befall the Bills again this week. Bills are 13-point favorites, already over under of about 40.5 in this one. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Bills. Whether they cover by that much, I don't know. New England had a great game last Sunday against the Broncos and defeated the Broncos in Denver, but I don't think they're going to be able to do that again in Buffalo, so I'm going to go with Buffalo. And then Atlanta at Chicago. This one's kind of tricky because you don't know what team is going to show up for Chicago. Chicago's a 3-point favorite in this one. 37.5 is the total over under. I'm going to go with Chicago on this. I think that Justin Fields will be able to get this done. Atlanta's not a good road team at all, so their 7-8 record is probably going to be 7-9 after Sunday. So I'm going to go with the Bears. And then we have the Raiders traveling into Indianapolis to take on the Colts. Colts are 3.5-point favorites in this one. Over under 43.5. This is tricky. Colts are currently in the last seed for the wild card spot for the AFC right now. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to have to go with the home team here. I think that the Colts will pull this out over the Raiders. The Raiders, their game last week against the Chiefs was eye-popping, certainly there on Christmas Day, but the 2 touchdowns they had were both on defense. You can't bet that every team is going to play that way every game. So I'm going to go with the Colts on this one. And then we have the Rams of Los Angeles flying cross-country into New York to face the Biggies of New York. The Gigantes are 5.5-point underdogs in this one. The Rams are actually favored by 5.5 points, over under 44.5. I'm going to go with the Rams. I think the Rams will prevail on the road here, but I don't know that that line seems kind of fat to me. I'm gonna say that. And again, this is all for entertainment purposes only, but I wouldn't bet that line at all. And then we have a battle of the birds once again. The Arizona Cardinals fly into the Philadelphia area to play the Philadelphia Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Eagles are 11-point favorites after getting off the schneid last week against the Giants. And the over-under is 48.5. I'm going to go with the Eagles on this one. I see no reason they should lose at home to Arizona. I think that they'll be able to prevail just nicely, and they'll move themselves back up to 12-4. The Saints of New Orleans travel into Tampa Bay and would-be battle for the top spot in the NFC South here. Tampa Bay is a 2.5-point favorite. Over under 42.5. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay on this one. I think the Tampa Bay will prevail. They're at home. I don't see any reason they should lose this one. San Fran at Washington. Of course, San Fran had that just disaster against Baltimore on Monday night. I don't see any reason that they should lose to Washington this week. They are, however, 12.5-point road favorites. That's a really high line, really fat line for a road team. Washington's total for over-under in this one is 49.5. They're expecting a little scoring in this one, but I don't see any reason that they should fail in their quest to become 12-4, the 49ers, that is. And then we have Carolina, another battle of kittens. The Carolina Panthers traveling into Jacksonville, traveling down I-26 down to I-95 to go into Jacksonville and face the Jaguars. Jaguars are 6-point favorites. The over-under in this one, 37.5. I like the Jaguars in this one. Jaguars have had a little bit of a losing skid here. They've lost 4 in a row, I think it's been now. So they're favored by 6. I like them to win. I don't think that they're going to be able to lose to the 2-13 Panthers in Jacksonville. And then we have the Miami Dolphins facing off against the Baltimore Ravens. Of course, the Dolphins are my team. There's question surrounding both Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They would need both of those guys to be at 100% just to have a chance against Baltimore. As much as I love the Dolphins, Baltimore's favored by 3.5. Over under 46.5. I have to go with Baltimore in this one, especially after their game against San Fran. They just demolished San Fran, so I'm going to go with Baltimore on this one. Then we have the Tennessee Titans taking on the Houston Texans. Houston, a home team here, is 4.5-point favorite, and the over under is 43.5. I like Houston in this one. Tennessee is out of the playoff picture. They played strong last week, but they're out of the playoff picture, have no chance. Houston is desperate to try and stay in the race. So I'm going to go with Houston on this one. And then the late games, Pittsburgh at Seattle. This is kind of an interesting matchup here, especially late in the season. Seattle's a 3.5-point favorite. Both teams are 8-7. Over under in this one of 41.5. I like Seattle at home. I would, at my own peril, venture to bet against myself betting against Seattle at home. I like Seattle at home in this one. I'm going to take Seattle. And then we have the Chargers electrifying the Denver area. Denver, of course, they're benching Russell Wilson, which is just mind-boggling. I know it's to save $37.5 million in potential injury money they'd have to pay him if he got hurt, but still, to go out and pay that kind of money for a quarterback and then bench him. Nonetheless, the Broncos are 3.5-point favorites, playing over just a completely shell of an NFL team with the Chargers. Chargers did play the Bills hard last week, but I'm gonna take the Broncos in this one. Over under is 36.5. Definitely gonna take the Broncos at home. And then you have Cincinnati traveling into KC. This is an interesting game. KC is a 7-point favorite, but Cincy lost last week, which was really odd considering how well they had been doing of late. Over under in this one 44.5. I'm gonna take KC in this one, but I don't think that 7 might be a little bit high for their spread. And again, totally for entertainment purposes only, but I do think that KC will prevail. And then that brings us to the conclusion of this week's Week 17 games. The GBs of Green Bay travel into Minnesota to take on the Vikings of Minnesota. Minnesota's favored by 1 in this one, and the over-under is 43.5. I like Minnesota at home here. I don't see any reason they should lose. I would take the Vikings in this one. So thanks for joining, everyone. Enjoy the games this weekend, and Happy New Year. We'll see you again in 2024.